You're dancing. We need to put some music on.
Oh, no, because then we're going to get kicked off.
Oh, yeah, I know.
Hello.
Hi.
You can pop in. We can pretend
yeah. Hello, guys.
Hi. We're live. And I know nobody's there, and that's fine. Everyone cannot be here.
Yeah, that's fine.
So what we're doing is we are doing a live out here in downtown Pomona. I claimed my corner. So this is my corner. I am on 2nd and Main. I will be doing Pomona Art Walk out here. And I'm claiming it because I did a piece out here. And I'm not the only one. There's a bunch of other artists that did 31 flavors. And so this is our way of bringing art into Pomona. So we're claiming the corner. This is our corner. And it's mental health corner. It is mental health corner. This is episode 2 of this season. I just made it up. We had episode 1 before. This is episode 2. Episode 1 was with the Los Angeles Poets Society. So this is the first one on this channel. And we will be having our own channel just for mental health, just for both of us. Yes. So be ready for that.
Yes, be ready, guys. I'm thinking we're going to do probably a TikTok.
Oh, that's right. We're doing a TikTok as well. So we're going to have TikTok. We're going to have Instagram. So right now, follow my account. And all the information will be following. So we have Christine. Christine is an MSW and also a POC and mental health advocate. My name is Gloria. I'm a writer and part of Flores Couture. And I'm a mental health advocate. Maybe a participant, but that's okay. I can be a participant and an advocate in mental health.
Of course.
I can own that. Yes. So today we're going to be covering the topic that we were supposed to cover at the last one, but the last one just organically became about the pandemic and motherhood and coping and all of that, which is really good.
Yes, very important. I mean, even now, mothers are still struggling with that, as we know. Yes, there's a little help. I think they're receiving some money, but it's not enough. But anyways, that could be for another episode.
The state relief where they're helping families from the lower income, but really that's middle class. So that's going to be episode 4. So stay tuned.
Right.
And then you guys can send us messages in our DM or questions. Sure. Yeah, because that's the other thing. We want to make this interactive. So the reason why we're going live is not just to go live, but also we're going to record this, put it on our YouTube, which is going to be part of our social media and all that. We just need to be in frame because, girl, you are too far from me. Okay. Sorry. Yeah, you didn't come here to see the air, but no, just kidding. So it's going to be a continuous talk because we feel that mental health is a topic that is very underrated within our community.
Definitely.
So talking about that, we're going to be covering molestation, the Latino family, and mental health. So question number 1, what do you do if you have a perp in your family? Now, this disclaimer, we are not talking about anyone that we know. We are not talking about any of our family members. If you think that's you, you're a cochino, and you need to go talk to a priest or go talk to somebody else. Don't DM me. Don't DM her. Because we are not talking about ourselves or our family. We are talking about clients and people we know. So let's just do that disclaimer to begin with.
That's a good one,
Yeah.
It is. I think, though, I think it's very important. I think we are just Gloria and I were just having this conversation right before we started on how important it is, especially in our community, talking about molestation because it happens too much. And I think...
in every family.
Right, in every family. But if you've noticed, as I've been talking in the past or even now, a lot of people of our community in the Latino community withhold a lot of things. With that, a lot of times family members aren't able to express these things, and when something happens, family members are usually not hush hush, right? We've noticed that it's hard for people to come forward, and so
there's no support even if you do come forward,
right? And so what do we do with that? Like, how are we able to help the community? How are we able to help bring that, do something differently? And I think we don't have these conversations enough with our kids, I think, because the future is our youth. And so where is it? We start with the young ones. I think we don't do enough of guiding our children, the young ones, and letting them know what parts of their body, should be touched, and again, parents, you could guide them with that, maybe with dolls. I was thinking, we didn't really get into it last time, but I think by showing them parts of their body where, hey, this is where, the doctor, perhaps when you're with the doctor, they can, show the body parts. But I think also another component that comes up is, what about when your tios come over, your tias come over from a party?
Family parties.
Right? What's the first thing your parents tell you? Because that's one of the things that comes up to my head is my mom always telling me to greet my aunts and uncles. What do they
hypothetically your mom, because it's not really, we're not talking about your mom.
But
hypothetically, our parents.
Right. So do you remember what is one of the, we were talking about that, what's the first thing you're kind of like almost obligated to do?
Abraza tu tío, abrázalo. Abraza tu tía, ándale, dale beso, córrele.
There you go.
And in English, that means go kiss your uncle, go kiss your aunt, go hug them, go do that. And so what if the child doesn't want to? Mm-hmm. Then what? What do Latino families say? Ándale, ándale.
Exactly.
Córrele.
Exactly.
You can't play until you go hug your uncle.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And so I think what we're doing is we're just giving that message, like, just do it regardless of how you're feeling, how your child's feeling. And I think that's the part where we're missing out, where we're not connecting with our kids or letting them know, hey, it's okay, like if they're not feeling like being able to hug their uncle that day or their aunt, what is going on with that? Why are they not? And respecting that with your child, right? But also just having that conversation. I think a lot of times in the Latino community, it's just like a thing, like, no, you just have to, and there's just no in between. Like,
right.
Do you get that? Like, like
there's no boundaries, number one. Mm-hmm. And number two, what you're doing is you're protecting the perp. So by saying, no, you go have to hug Uncle Creepy. Uncle Creepy's like, yeah, come here. You have to hug me. Because if you don't, you're in trouble. So then, train.
Yeah, we got a train going through, so we gotta wait.
It's called live. We're live.
We're live, yes. So going on with that, boundaries, like Gloria said, boundaries are so important. But even with growing up, like, that's another thing. A lot of times in the community, it's not really talked about. Again, we're not talked about, so it's just a given. And sometimes even then, the next step is, if a child was to say something happened, or
I don't want to hug him, or I don't feel comfortable, then it's not go do it now. Then it's like, all right, go outside, go play. And then maybe ask the child later, hey, why didn't you want to hug Theo Creepy?
Yeah, exactly. So just like having that conversation and having that trust, because I think that's what's missing, and that's a lot of reasons why kids end up not building that rapport with or having these conversations with their parents, because they were never allowed to just say what they feel or acknowledge. And so those are some of the key components, I think, in order to avoid, any molestation. But I'm not saying that's to avoid, because you never know. And so
it's educating your child. It's helping them.
Yes, and even so, like, let's say it did happen. What about even then? Because I've had, people come up to me, or clients that have said that these things have happened, and they told their parents, and what happened? They didn't believe them. Right.
No lo digas, cállate. Be quiet. Don't say anything. Don't talk about it. We don't talk about that. This doesn't happen in our family, Mom.
Exactly. It doesn't happen. Or mom is in denial. Or another thing that happens,
it's your in-law. It could be like, not like directly your family, but your in-laws. And now you're put in a bad situation, because it may be a power play or something happening where you're not able to take a stand in that moment, because you don't know how to react, because Uncle Chewy has a drinking problem, and Uncle Chewy also has a temper. So there's a reason why Uncle Chewy is a really good perpetrator, because he has experience. These people aren't just like they have a position in the family, especially also Latino families where we're demanded to, oh, we're out of frame, where we're demanded to respect our elders at all costs.
At all costs.
We are not allowed to ever speak back or talk back or anything like that. And if you do, you're bad. You're wrong.
Exactly. And that's exactly why I think these conversations are important, because we want to reach out to you. We want to say, no, it doesn't have to be that way. We need to start educating. You know, it's hard on a little scale, so why not bring it out, right? That's why we're doing these out live, because we feel like we need to spread it more, right? Because me doing my individual job, right, it makes an impact, but a small one. And so why not bring it out to the community? Let's have
open
these
the conversations.
Yes,
yeah.
And let's normalize that. Let's normalize you being able to talk about it. Let's communicate more with our kids. Let's appreciate them and really trust them with what they have to say, instead of shutting them down or making them feel bad. And no, that can never happen. And you know, things like that, right? And keeping things in the family. The secrecy has to stop. Yes, it has to stop, because it's like, what are you modeling too for your kids? And so I think that's why Gloria and I thought this topic we really need to share. Just, you know, it's a very a thing that we really have to share. And so yeah, I think we were talking about also family part. We kind of
the family parties. But the other thing that I was going to say is there's a weirdness in Mexican families when it comes to treating our children like objects. And you know, they're our child. They are there to play and do exactly as I told them. I don't want to hear their ideas or thoughts, because that's something that white parents do. White parents sit there, and I'm sorry if this is offensive to you, okay? Not to trying to be offensive, but I'm trying to talk about topics that are really talked about. Kitchen table talk. So they're like, yeah, white parents let their children yell at them. White parents let their children talk back to them, but not me. That's not how we're raised. That's not what we do things. And it's not about that. It's about a balance where you validate your child and you listen to them, but you also discipline them, because your job is to be a parent and to discipline and to teach them. You know what I mean? Right. But it's also learning how to respect them as individuals, and not being like, ooh, that's just something white parents do, you know?
Right.
And labeling it like this is out of our culture, so we don't do it. It's not that it's out of our culture. Maybe it's something that we were never exposed to. Exactly. Like my parents, and we're not talking about anybody specifically, but my parents were not exposed to mental health because they didn't have that in Mexico. Exactly. So how are you going to be able to have something in your culture or know about something if you were never exposed to it? So now we're exposed to it. Now we know better. So let's do better.
Exactly. Let's do better. And yeah, I like that you brought that up, because it's true. And mental health is not talked enough about in our communities. And when it is, what's the first thing that comes to mind? A lot of parents, I'm not crazy, yo no soy loca, you know, things like that, right?
¿Quieres ayuda? ¿Quieres hablar con alguien? Yeah, exactly. Dame a mí tu dinero and I will talk to you. Exactly. That's like, it's like, mommy, I've been talking to you for the last 20 years. If you know, like, I love you, but I also need to talk. Like, I deserve to speak to a professional. I'm worthy.
Exactly, worthy. Oh my God, I love that you brought that up. I think we don't give ourselves, I think as Latinos, and really probably, I'm only speaking right now for that because, you know, I identify
that's
Mexican
our experience,
American. Yeah. And so, yes, I think we don't value ourselves as much. I really think that we need to work on that, on self-love. And I think that is a critical component. I think if our mothers, especially moms, I don't know, for some reason, why is it that it's always that critical mom that, you know, that there's the emphasis on that, right? Like the spicy Latina, whatever, like that. Have you heard, you know, those connotations?
Of course,
and just, why is it that we're stuck with that? Why can't we grow from this? Why can't we say, why is she like that? Why do you call her crazy? What's going on with her? Because maybe she hasn't been taking care of herself, right? And so why can't we work on that?
It's not normalized. You know, if you're sad, upset, going through stuff after you have your child, cállate la boca, ponte a lavar los trastes, ponte a hacer qué hacer.
Exactly. Like, just
that's
deal
our
with
mental health.
Exactly. And so we need to open that up. We need to really talk about it, and there's nothing wrong with it. It's very good, and why not uplift our other girls, our women? We want to do that. We need that. We need that for our family to grow and healthier ways, and so
break generational curses.
Break. Oh my gosh, yes, I was gonna go generational curses. Exactly.
Girl, I was reading your mind.
We need to break that cycle, guys. We need to break it, because right now, and it has been, our people are suffering, and we really need to just talk more about it. We just need to bring these pláticas, right? These pláticas, these are very important.
And be open about it, and not be afraid of talking about it. I'm not afraid of being judged. Yes. I'm going to talk about it, and I'm going to be open about it, and that's something that when we've had, because we've been talking about this offline, not in front of the camera.
Yeah, we have.
And I swear to God, 90% of the time, I just want to turn on the camera and just let us talk, because there's such deep, important conversations that are not being had. She's having them. You're having them one-on-one with your client, but you have what? 30, 40, wait, you work for county, so that's 80 clients a month, and that's not reaching enough people of color, or not reaching all of our community. So, number 3, how do Latino communities deal with perpetrators? So how do you feel that Latino communities deal with perpetrators?
Great question, Gloria. I think they don't. I think it's silenced. I think, to be honest, if anything, they get away with it. And the sad part is, how is that helping us as a community? Because it's really interesting that a couple of people that I spoke to, and this is outside my clientele, that have told me, that they've had an experience, with a family member that they weren't even able to talk about, or if they did talk about it with the family member, again, hush hush. And guess what? That woman had to endure this man being at a family event and just dealing with her emotions.
Just sit down and go to the family event. Just deal with it. Just go.
Yeah, and that's basically what she was told. And just for me hearing that, it just
Who cares if you're rapist or molesters there? Just deal with it.
I mean, it just sounds so awful. And just for her having to feel that for many years and not even being able to talk about it, it's almost like...
I don't feel it's just even that. I feel it goes further, Christine. I feel it goes to the point to where if you were molested or raped or whatever, people get mad at you for getting molested. They get mad at you for saying something. So now you're the bad one trying to create problems in the family.
Oh yeah. It seems like the person that speaks the most is the one that is usually attacked, in a sense, right? We don't want to go through personal experiences, but at the same time, I'm gonna say I'm a big advocate on the outside. I am I do that for my clients, so I'm pretty big on that. But yes, I've had that experience. It's like you talk about something and you bring it forward, and you get shut down, you get attacked.
You're a liar.
Oh, yeah.
You're a whore. You deserved it. You had it coming. You wore that. You're going to hell. And I start seeing, because I've seen this trend on Instagram where I see this religious lady, this Mexican religious lady, and she speaks in Spanish. And I'm not even going to blow out which Instagram it is, but I'm this close to unfollowing. Where she sees this girl and she speaks to her in Spanish and she says, you're not supposed to wear that. If you wear that, that's of the devil. And that's why, and then the other one that she said was, you're not supposed to go out and drink. Because if you go to a bar as a woman, then you are responsible for killing a child. Because if you go out and drink, then you're going to go lay up with the first man you see, and then you're going to get pregnant, and now you are guilty of killing a child. And I'm just like,
wow.
Whoa.
That's
so now you're using this to shame people for being molested or being raped or whatever it is. So on top of having to sit down at the quinceañera, at the boda, at the bautizo, with your perp.
And
now the family's looking at you like,
yes,
what's wrong with you? Shut up.
And so she's, attacked, and in a sense, we're enabling this perp to do what, he wants, in a sense, right? Because nobody's holding him accountable. So therefore, he's going to continue to do these things, right? I mean, if we're not holding him accountable, what's to expect, And then at the same time, this poor woman is drowning and perhaps dealing with a lot of mental health issues that she it's just getting worse, right, as time goes by, because no one's believing her, so therefore, and then maybe blaming herself. And that's what a lot of these young women and adults do. They end up holding it in, and they end up blaming themselves for something that was never their fault, never. And so that's why it's essential that we teach our young ladies, and we create healthier bonds with our children. So it starts at a young age, I think, and it starts, and even if it's not, let's start that up
now,
right? Have
today.
These conversations. Yes, it could be any age, but I'm just saying, if you're a new mama, or you want to make sure you're sharing, or daddy too, mamas and daddies, we got to do this together. It can't be just one or the other. We got to share this. So it's important, especially dad, because he's modeling this, right, to his children, and especially because it's coming from a male, and I think that's a conversation that we really need to have too with our males, right, about them participating in this theme. But so what was the other question that we were talking about? I forget.
Point number 4. So we keep talking about shh, quiet, don't talk about it. It's a secret. So the adults are hush hush, right?
Yes,
the adults are all secretive. But are the children? Are the children quiet? Are the children that these things are happening to, are we sure that they're not talking amongst themselves and saying, hey, we all know that Uncle Chewy is a cochino, and they start talking amongst themselves, and now this information, now no one can protect Uncle Chewy, because why do we have to protect Uncle Chewy? Poor Uncle Chewy. But no one's protecting Uncle Chewy because, now the children are talking. So maybe the code of silence is for the adults. But I know for a fact, not naming any names, but there was a situation that happened in this family, and we were at a family party, and I, went to go check on the children, because I always do, and I was listening to their conversation, and they were talking about a situation where something like that happened. And so it's like, it's a family secret. We're sitting at the person's family's house where the things are happening, but the children are talking. Not the adults at the table. But the kids out in the backyard are talking.
Right. And I think that's I think for us, that's why the conversation is important, that we talk about transparency. See, the kids, even if you don't talk about it, guess what? They're great at being honest, and so they're going to talk about it. And so how important it is to have these hard conversations, right? Because guess what? You think it's no one's gonna hear about it. Well, they hear about it. Or
no one sees.
No one sees, exactly, but they do. They hear it, they see it, and guess what? You're also modeling for them what to do in this situation. So if you're keeping it secret, guess what? They're gonna keep it secret. So therefore, it's your obligation to be honest, and
they're also gonna cover up for the person.
Yeah, and then you're gonna.
And they're gonna think this is how you're supposed to act when this happens. Yeah, you're normalizing the bad behavior.
Exactly, you're normalizing it. Obviously it's not something we want, and so it's very important, just again, to be transparent, and again, it's hard at first, right, when someone hears something.
It's hard conversations,
but these are the conversations that must be had. We gotta talk about it, because look at all these things, and then this is gonna go off topic, but look at what's happening in the military. A lot of hush hush, right? And that's another topic we could go into.
That's for show number 3.
Yes,
we're gonna talk about the military and mental health and people of color, but the consequences of keeping molestation quiet is homelessness. A lot of homeless people that are out there are homeless because they were molested at one point. Drug addiction. This happens a lot in families because children or adults that were molested as children use alcohol and drugs in order to cope. So we have that. We have more broken children. So then people that have this done to them may become perpetrators themselves, or they may allow their children, they're going to let their boyfriend do this to them because this is what they thought was normal. So why not? Why not continue this? So this continues on from generation to generation. And not only does it affect our families, but it affects our communities.
Definitely.
So what can we do? What are some solutions? Like, God, this was so depressing. How can we, what's the solution?
Having these conversations.
Talking?
Yes.
What? So the opposite of shh.
Yeah, exactly. Talking. And you know what? I think you said it in the beginning. creating a space that is non-judgmental, creating a space where you can be you, and no one's gonna have these high expectations. Like, you could just be you. And I think that's what's missing in our world. We're not able to just grasp you, like, you know, Gloria, I'm gonna love you no matter what, right? Like, as is.
Warts
I take
and
you
all.
as in. Silly. And so, like, just be.
No, but yeah, we all feel
yes.
self-conscious about something or another.
No,
you know, we all
true.
have these secrets that we don't talk about.
Exactly.
And it wasn't until we started talking about it, I started finding out your warts. You know, your things that you're hiding.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's hard. I mean, we're not going to talk about it here because you guys need to be like at our kitchen table when we're talking, you know. But that's also, you know, important, you know, talking.
Yes. It's important because guess what? A lot of times when we do open up, we end up relating more and just being able to be more vulnerable to another person, right? Versus that fake.
And heal.
Yeah. Yes, and heal, exactly. And that's what we want, right? We put on these masks, but let's take the masks off. Let's be ourselves. And I think that's, again, what's missing. And what we need is just transparency 100 times. Like,
so that's another solution: transparency and talking, and being open and honest, even though it hurts, even though it sucks, even though Uncle Chewy's going to be pissed off at you and not get you, you know, because. And I'm sorry to say, but a lot of these perps control situations with money. So Uncle Chewy may be the one that has the really good job, that has the business, that hires everybody in the family, that keeps everybody afloat. Well, guess what, baby girl? Uncle Chewy's a perp, and so you need to go get yourself a job somewhere else and stand on your own 2 feet. Because just because Uncle Chewy has money and, you know, oh, well, you're not going to get the car for Christmas? It's not worth you giving up your body or giving up your dignity, your self-esteem, your mental health. Like,
but I think it's hard for, again, people that have been through this to come forward because of the fact, like you said, we don't have enough of these spaces. Tell me, really, like right now, like if you think about, yes, we have made good strides in mental health, but at the same time, we're not there yet. And where
that's another good solution. Get a therapist. Go talk to a professional. That's a really good solution.
Yes, please. And if not, like, we could find some for you. I mean, there's also coaches. There's, you know, mental health advocates. There's a lot of, but therapists, of course, but that's for the deep work. But I'm saying if you even want a mentor, I mean, there's just so many groups that you could join. It's just important that we just start talking about it, right? Like, that's the first step. No, you know, and you just, the first step is recognizing. And I think a lot of times we don't, right? Because again, the stigma with mental health, like, no, you know, oh no, I'm fine, you know, or, you know, my mom and dad think it's crazy, I don't need to go see a therapist, right? But we do, we need these spaces, and we need to just talk about it more. And I think that's where it starts, really. And just being, you know, having these communities and really just us embracing each other. I think that's really needed in the Latino community. I feel like a lot of times, I don't know why, I get the sense where there's a lot of, like, people jealous and just, like, women hating another woman. Why? Like, why can't we just uplift each other and just share
and that's
things?
Like blaming the victim. Because, like, where you're saying that part, it's because, like, women will say, oh, you deserved it. Look at how your daughter dressed. Your daughter has size D cup boobs at 12, and, you know, she wears a size 0, so that's her fault. And it's like, she's 12. I'm pretty sure she didn't tell her body to do that. So, you know, it's you're right. It goes back to that victim blaming, and then this child, it doesn't have the tools necessary to deal with it. And I'm just gonna bring up a suggestion, nothing to do with me, but it does have to do with me. When I was in a abusive relationship, I was in a situation where I couldn't talk to anybody because I was in an environment that was so hostile because I was living with them. So I didn't have that outlet. So what I did is I wrote. So it's find another outlet. You know, maybe you're 15 and you're in a shitty situation and you're living with your uncle because you have no parents, or you're in a group home because you have no other place to go. And you're in a bad situation, and, you know, let's be real. If I call that social worker, they're going to move me out of here. I'm going to go somewhere else. So I don't know where I'm going to go to. What am I going to do? So as a 15-year-old, start writing. Start like drawing, writing, running, boxing, sports. whatever it is, like do silly TikToks, create like I don't know, dance. Like there's some outlet. Obviously, I'm old, so I'm thinking of like old school stuff. But
no, this is actually great. This is what I use with the youth at where I work at. It's just like coming up with what works for them, right? Because like you said, yes, journaling, I love it. But there are some youth that don't write or they don't do so. Like
they don't care. They're like,
yeah. But I love it. Yeah, poetry, painting. I mean, we talk
write
about
a screenplay. Write a screenplay and go film it on YouTube, okay? Like you want us to be all like 2021? There you go. Go do something on YouTube, okay?
Yeah.
Go do a makeup tutorial. Go dye your hair funky colors. Like there's other like, and I'm not like I know that those are messed up situations. You know, where you're probably in a small town and you don't have help.
Yeah. Exactly.
And that does happen, but don't lose hope. You know?
Yeah, don't lose hope. We're here. There, you know, sometimes we feel like there isn't someone that they're always. I think there's this quote by I forgot exactly how it goes, but Mr. Rogers. I love Mr. Rogers. Okay,
Mr. Rogers is a good egg.
And he said something about just there's always going to be helpers out there, even when when there's something going on and you feel helpless. There's always someone out there that really is genuine and willing to help. And so we just got to seek it out too. We have to do a little homework, and I think that's great because I think too, just connecting too with Gloria, like we haven't connected in years, and when we kind of talked to each other, it just felt like an instant connect, like how we could do this. And isn't that amazing that we're very interested and involved in mental health,
kind of like reconnected. Yeah.
And so I'm thinking like the same for all of us. Like I think there's a time and a place for everything, and I think it's just powerful to be able, like I said, that there's going to be help out there. It's just we have to do a little homework behind it, but it's out there, guys. And so and yeah, we do care about everyone's mental health. So yes, please take care. And I don't know, did we want to end now?
I think we covered all 5 of our spots. I'm going to encourage you guys to DM me because I am doing this here. But when I share this, I'm going to share her Instagram. So if you guys want to reach out to her, she has resources. So we're not professionals. We are mental health advocates. And that's what we are doing. So please seek professional help. If you need to call the suicide hotline, please call the suicide hotline. Whatever it is that you need to do, reach out, okay? And if you guys have any questions, please send them to me. Hi, Matt. Thank you so much, everybody, for joining me. Please claim your own corner of the world.
Yeah, we're claiming Pomona Corner. The art colony.
Yeah,
Arts
we're in
colony,
the
guys.
art colony on 2nd and Main. This is our corner now. We claimed it. That's right. So
we're across from Café y Libros.
Café
Do you guys
y
know where
Libros.
that's at? Yeah. I haven't been able to go there. I want to go. It's closed.
It's closed.
No, we can.
That's episode number 5.
Right. Yeah. Episode number 5, guys. We got a lot of episodes. Let us know what you want. What topics you want us to talk about.
Yeah. What is it that's affecting you that you guys want us to cover? We're open to all of that. Thank you so much for joining us for episode 2. Episode 3 coming up.
Yay!